It was the year 2008 and I decided to see W, primarily drawn by the opportunity to watch an Oliver Stone film. I admired his work with classics like Platoon, Wall Street, Born on the 4th of July, and my personal favorite, JFK, as I settled into my seat for the film's 129-minute runtime. I was struck by the novelty of watching a biopic about a sitting US president, especially so close to an election. George W. Bush's time in the Oval Office was undeniably eventful, marked by a contentious 2000 election, the September 11th attacks, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, Hurricane Katrina, and the economic crisis of 2008. Yet, amidst all this, I couldn't help but think, this could never happen in my country. Throughout my life, I've watched numerous American films featuring actors portraying presidents, both real and fictional. However, I noticed that when Hollywood produces biopics about these figures, they often wait years, sometimes decades or even a century, before tackling their life stories. This approach makes sense. Time allows for a deeper examination of their legacies and the lasting impact their presidencies have on society. Additionally, this delay gives filmmakers the freedom to explore these subjects without the immediate pressures of political criticism or potential backlash from current administrations. When a president's term has ended or they have passed away, the risks of defamation lawsuits or accusations of electoral interference significantly diminish, allowing for a more honest and nuanced portrayal. W intrigued me because it didn't wait until Bush's second term was over to be made. However, it wasn't the first time Hollywood had tackled a biopic about a sitting president. PT-109 is a 1963 biographical war film depicting the actions of John F. Kennedy as an officer of the United States Navy in the Pacific theater of World War II. This movie was the first commercial theatrical film about a sitting US president released while he was still in office and having him been a main character.
Mr. Kennedy, welcome to the South Pacific.
The film was adapted from the book PT-109, John F. Kennedy in World War II, by Robert J. Donovan. Unlike most examples in this video, this movie was heavily influenced by the Kennedys and the White House. Kennedy's father, Joseph Kennedy Sr., had been, among many things, an influential Hollywood producer and former head of RKO Studio, which was one of the big five studios in Hollywood's golden age, which produced among many classic what some people consider the greatest film of all time, 1941's Citizen Kane. Joseph Kennedy Sr. negotiated the film rights to Donovan's 1961 biography of his son, and the film was made under the personal supervision of Warner Brothers' head of production, Jack L. Warner. The White House even sent former PT boat commander Alvin Cluster, a wartime friend of President Kennedy and his former commanding officer, to act as a liaison between Warner Brothers and the White House. JFK made his wishes known to the production. He set 3 conditions on the film: that it be historically accurate, that profits go to the survivors of the PT-109 and their families, and that he would have the final choice of actor. This role went to Cliff Robertson, whom younger audiences know better as Uncle Ben from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Alvin Cluster told the actor that the president picked you not only because you were a fine actor, but because you're young-looking, yet mature enough so that the world won't get the idea the president was being played by a parking lot attendant or something.
We're getting out of here one way or the other.
What about the natives?
If the natives don't do it, we'll do it another way, but we're getting out of here if we have to get in the water and drag this damned island back with us.
While PT-109 is based on real events, though it is widely regarded as a propaganda film, it not only helped bolster Kennedy's image.
Here we are, beat and burned and given up for dead, living on green coconuts and no water in the middle of 15,000 Japanese soldiers, and you decide the odds are with us.
It's a flaw in my character.
But also advanced the US government's efforts to promote positive narratives about the military and American values during the Cold War era.
Mr. Kennedy, they're fighting out here.
It's too late, Rogers, and I'm surprised at you. Where's your spirit?
Spirit, what's that?
The willingness to fight for what you believe in.
After viewing the film, Kennedy referred to PT-109 as a good product.
Damn good job.
The film was released in June 1963, just 5 months before Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. Sometime before that, JFK would shake hands with the subject of the next film. Well, sort of. Primary Colors is a 1998 film directed by Mike Nichols and distributed by Universal Pictures. The screenplay is adapted from the novel Primary Colors, a novel of politics, which, while fictional, is closely based on Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign. John Travolta stars as Jack Stanton, a charismatic governor from Arkansas, vying for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the United States.
And I will make you this deal. I will work hard for you. I will wake up every morning thinking about you. I will fight and sweat and bleed to get the money to make education a lifetime thing in this country, to give you the support you need to move up.
While Emma Thompson portrays his formidable wife, Susan Stanton, the First Lady of Arkansas.
If you can't handle that simple fact, you can leave right now.
So, while there are very evident parallels, they aren't exact representations of Bill and Hillary Clinton. Although the film presents both characters in a generally positive light, it also delves into Jack's past indiscretions, ranging from sex scandals to legal troubles that could be weaponized by the press and his opponents. Travolta has mentioned that his portrayal draws on various presidents with a primary focus on Bill Clinton.
You know, there's definitely a presidential thing, you know, in essence, a kind of personality that they all share in common.
In contrast, Thompson has consistently stated that her performance was not modeled after Hillary Clinton, a view echoed by many film critics. Despite this, many critics have argued that the American public might perceive the film as a factual account due to its close resemblance to real-life characters and events. The film does a commendable job of depicting its protagonists as flawed yet highly sympathetic figures. It even concludes on an uplifting note, featuring a character who, disillusioned with politics, ultimately joins forces with the presidential couple. Then President Bill Clinton enjoyed Primary Colors so much that he invited John Travolta to a party on one condition: he had to attend as Governor Jack Stanton. Travolta declined the offer. This says less about the film and more about Clinton himself. Bill Clinton's persona would be explored on screen again in later years, both favorably in HBO's 2010 film The Special Relationship, and less so in FX's 2021 series Impeachment: American Crime Story.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Notably, Primary Colors was released in the midst of the Lewinsky scandal, just 18 months before Clinton's own Vice President Al Gore would face the subject of the next film on this list. In 2008, Oliver Stone and Stanley Weiser collaborated on an original script exploring pivotal events in George W. Bush's life. Stone was no stranger to depicting presidential lives on screen, having achieved great success with Nixon in 1995. However, when he sought financing from American studios for W, he faced rejection. As a result, Stone opted for independent financing. Stone acknowledged that he and Weiser had to speculate on some dialogue, stating, "You take all the facts and capture the spirit of the scene to make it accurate to what you think happened." He described W as a behind-the-scenes exploration akin to Nixon, but noted that while Nixon was a symphony, W is more like a chamber piece and less dark in tone. Although Stone has been critical of Bush regarding the 2003 invasion of Iraq, he clarified that he wasn't aiming to create an anti-Bush polemic. The film depicts George W. Bush as a deeply flawed yet complex and relatable character.
You disappoint me, Junior. Deeply disappoint me.
Is that it?
According to Rotten Tomatoes, it provides a surprisingly sympathetic portrayal of the 43rd American president, highlighting several compelling moments.
No, I don't get it. All this psychobabble in the media. I mean, all I wanted to do is make this a better and safer world for everyone.
Rather than casting Bush as a villain or a fool, the film focuses on his humanity.
I dug myself out of the depths of hell to stand on my own 2 feet, make something of myself, and I did it on my own.
Think you did? Yeah, well, you also wrecked it.
This nuanced depiction contrasts with the more critical portrayal of Bush seen in the 2018 film Vice, where Sam Rockwell takes on the role.
Hot damn!
I believe W initiated a trend of biographical films about sitting presidents during the later years of their terms. Whether these films serve as farewells or condemnations of presidential actions varies from case to case. Released on October 17, 2008, just before that year's presidential election, was strategically timed. Reports indicated that the producers ran television spots for the film opposite Republican nominee John McCain's ads in the fall of 2008. The film received mixed reviews, with some critics arguing that it should have been more critical of the president. At the time, there were serious discussions about the film's potential for electoral interference. This wasn't the only film that raised concerns within the Republican Party that year. The same year saw the release of Recount, which detailed the disputed 2000 presidential election that ultimately crowned George W. Bush as the victor. Unsurprisingly, Recount does not cast Republicans in a favorable light. 4 years later, just months before the presidential election between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, Game Change was released, portraying John McCain's 2008 campaign alongside Sarah Palin. In this film, McCain was depicted as using excessive coarse language.
Why are they f***ing me like this?
While Palin appeared woefully unqualified for the role.
Currently, we're in the middle of what I like to call the three wars. That's Afghanistan, Iraq, and the global war on terror.
Governor, would you like to take a break?
No way. This is flippin' awesome.
Some even debated whether her portrayal in Game Change made her seem so foolish that it was actually more ridiculous than the caricature depicted in the Saturday Night Live sketches.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Both Recount and Game Change were produced by HBO and directed by Jay Roach. The Bush administration never officially commented on W, but former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, portrayed in the film, dismissed the sibling rivalry depicted as high-grade, unadulterated hooey, suggesting that Stone's exploration of the family dynamic could have benefited from actual conversations with the Bush family. Interestingly, Josh Brolin, who played Bush, claimed that the former president did watch the film. Brolin recounted that Oliver Stone met with Bill Clinton in China, and Clinton mentioned that he had lent his copy of W to Bush. Reportedly, Bush himself liked it very much and noted some sad moments in the portrayal. In 2009, Barack Obama succeeded George W. Bush, making history as the first African-American president of the United States. His remarkable journey to power felt like it was ripped from the pages of a screenplay, and Hollywood quickly jumped on the opportunity to tell his story. Denzel Washington, Will Smith, and Jamie Foxx were among the actors many imagined could embody him on screen. Much like George W. Bush, it wasn't until the final year of Obama's second term that we saw him as a central character in a film. Before that, his appearances had been limited to minor indirect roles, such as a brief cameo in My Name is Khan and in Kingsman: The Secret Service, where this happens to him. When the time came for Obama's biopic, audiences were surprised to find not one, but two films hitting theaters, just months before the contentious 2016 election between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. In a twist of expectations, neither film focused on his political career or achievements in the White House. Instead, much like PT 109, both narratives reach back over 2 decades to explore Obama's formative years outside the political arena. South Side with You, directed by Richard Tan, is a romantic drama that chronicles a young Barack Obama's first date with Michelle Robinson in 1989 Chicago.
You're late.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
It's okay. I expected it. You were late for your first day of work.
You noticed that too.
Yeah. I'm your advisor. I'm supposed to notice.
Featuring Parker Sawyers as Obama and Tika Sumpter as Michelle, the film portrays a charming day filled with art, conversation, and connection, culminating in their first kiss outside an ice cream parlor. The film draws strong parallels to Richard Linklater's Before Sunrise, capturing the essence of youthful romance and meaningful connection.
Something else is pulling at me. Now, I wonder if I can write books or
hold a position of influence in civil rights.
Politics?
Maybe.
I just want to do more.
Yeah, so do I.
Despite being a modest box office success, it garnered mostly positive reviews and found a place on many critics' best lists. Justin Chang of Variety praised it as something unique, even audacious in American independent cinema, a fact-based presidential prequel that aims to present two iconic figures as relatable and compelling romantic leads. On that front, it's an unqualified success. On the other hand, I found Barry, directed by Vikram Gandhi, to be the more compelling film. It dives deeper into Obama's life as a college student at Columbia University in 1981, with Devon Terrell portraying a 20-year-old Obama and Anya Taylor-Joy as Charlotte Bowman, a composite character based on Obama's several girlfriends while in college.
The president's an actor.
So how does change happen then? Or do you not believe in change either?
I believe in art. I believe in, I don't know, people creating change.
Barry explores themes of identity and race as it follows Obama navigating life as a biracial student in a predominantly white setting. It tackles his struggles with belonging and early political activism, offering a glimpse into the formative experiences that shaped him as a leader.
If the states had voted on slavery, we would have lost the vote. So, yeah, at that point, moral authority kicks in to defend the minority against the will of the people. And that's when the spears come out.
Although it received a more mixed reception compared to South Side with You, the film eventually reached a broader audience after being picked up by Netflix. Both films feel like a farewell tribute to Obama's presidency. By focusing on his past, they sidestep the controversies and tough decisions of his time in office. While Obama maintained a largely positive public image by the end of his presidency, these films present an idealized version of him. South Side with You faced criticism for its hagiographic portrayal, leading some to question its authenticity.
We have to let go of judgment. You know, whether it's a colleague, a family member, or a particular opponent, well, especially our opponents. Because where their needs align with our needs, is where things get done. That's America.
In contrast, I preferred Barry for its more nuanced character study, capturing the complexities of self-discovery and the mistakes we make along the way. Unlike Barack Obama, his successor, Donald Trump, was already a well-known TV personality, having made appearances as himself in numerous shows and films. This background set the stage for a unique representation of his presidency on screen.
Mr. Donald! Oh my God!
Donald Trump was no stranger to cinematic portrayals. In 2005, he was the subject of the ABC TV movie Trump Unauthorized, in which Justin Lewis depicted his early days from launching his real estate career in Manhattan to marrying Ivana Trump, played by Catherine Winnick, and eventually landing the role of host on the reality TV show The Apprentice. Additionally, Trump was parodied in the 2016 satire Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal, the movie, where he was portrayed by none other than Johnny Depp, showcasing the often absurd and controversial aspects of his larger-than-life persona. One noteworthy example isn't a film, but a miniseries that fits perfectly into this discussion, especially given its subject matter and timely release. It's significant for being one of the first portrayals where many viewers and critics agreed. The president is depicted as the villain.
Nobody gets treated as unfairly as I do. It's disgraceful. Sir, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty.
The Comey Rule is a television miniseries starring Jeff Daniels as former FBI Director James Comey and Brendan Gleeson as Donald Trump. Based on Comey's 2018 memoir, A Higher Loyalty, the series delves into the controversial oversight of two election year investigations, one into Hillary Clinton's mishandling of emails and the other into the connections between Trump's campaign and Russia. The drama captures Comey's fraught interactions with Trump, culminating in his dramatic firing in May 2017. This film also features the unique aspect of Barack Obama being portrayed by Kingsley Ben-Adir, an actor who was a full 25 years younger than the president during the time the story unfolds. Originally slated to premiere after the 2020 presidential election, the series faced criticism from director Billy Ray regarding its timing. It was ultimately rescheduled to air over 2 nights, starting on September 27, 2020, just 5 weeks before the election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The Comey rule turned out to be as divisive as Comey himself. Critics have raised concerns about its casting choices and its ambitious attempt to frame contemporary events as historical narrative. Many Democrats were frustrated by its sympathetic portrayal of Comey.
Swinging elections is not your job.
But protecting the Bureau is.
While Republicans dismissed it as yet another piece of anti-Trump propaganda from the Hollywood elite.
Really looking forward to working with you. Let's take a picture.
Laura Miller from Slate called the miniseries a horror film, stating, "The monster is Donald Trump." Meanwhile, Ben Travers from IndieWire compared Trump to a lurking predator, saying, like the shark in Jaws or the alien xenomorph, Donald Trump lurks unseen in the Comey rule. But once this creature bares its teeth, it can't be stopped. Given its release so close to the election, especially in a year where a record 100 million early votes were cast due to the pandemic, one might wonder if the Comey rule was intended as a political strike against the sitting president. Director Billy Ray himself noted, "If we re-elect Donald Trump, then all bets are off." I don't actually know what's going to happen to America, and I'm not sure that the American experiment will actually survive it. It's safe to say that Donald Trump likely didn't appreciate this portrayal. Despite having the longest career in public service on this list, current President Joe Biden has made fewer appearances on film and television. One notable instance is in HBO's 2016 film Confirmation, which dramatizes the controversial Supreme Court nomination hearings of Clarence Thomas, highlighting Anita Hill's allegations of sexual harassment. In this film, actor Greg Kinnear plays then-Senator Joe Biden in a supporting role.
Well, I'm not going to be the chairman who knew about a second accuser and didn't call her in. You subpoena her if that's what it takes, but get her down.
While Biden does feature in a biopic during his presidency, the spotlight is primarily on his son, Hunter Biden. In 2022, the far-right network Breitbart released My Son Hunter, a satirical take on Hunter's alleged foreign business dealings and lifestyle. President Joe Biden is portrayed by John James in this film.
Oh, God damn it, Hunt. Come on. We're living in a world of that thing. What do they call it? I'm with her. Me too.
Though My Son Hunter received some positive reviews, it didn't achieve a wide release or significantly alter public perception.
Come on, man.
Instead, it was widely viewed as a politically charged hit piece against the sitting president.
I'm going to take you outside. Beat the living hell out of you.
Like in 2016 with Obama, major studios generally lean left, making it unlikely to see a film about Joe Biden this year, especially given his low approval ratings and the subsequent candidacy switch with Kamala Harris. Instead, we have another biopic focusing on Donald Trump.
What if you lost your fortune today? What would you do?
Well, then maybe I'll run for president. I don't know.
Although it doesn't center on him as a sitting president, The Apprentice was announced in May 2018 and aimed for release by the end of Trump's term. However, production delays and the pandemic put the project on hold.
There's never been anything like this, of this magnitude, this quality.
The Apprentice examines Trump's rise as a real estate mogul in New York during the 1970s and 1980s, alongside his complex relationship with lawyer and mentor Roy Cohn. Starring Sebastian Stan as Trump and Jeremy Strong as Cohn, the film doesn't shy away from controversial portrayals, depicting Trump as a racist, homophobe, and rapist. Due to its provocative subject matter, the film faced challenges in securing American distribution, especially following attempts by Trump's legal team to block its release.
I'm rich, I'm handsome, I have a great family, I'm gonna be the #1 builder in New York. Listen to me. You're gonna have a life you can't even dream of, Ivana. With me.
The first trailer dropped on September 10th, coinciding with the presidential debate between Trump and Kamala Harris, and the film was ultimately released on October 11th, just 4 weeks before the election. While The Apprentice garnered mostly positive reviews, some critics claimed it was defamatory, citing inaccuracies and dramatized dialogues presented as fact.
What is the truth in life? Deny everything, admit nothing. You know what's true? What I say is true.
Trump himself dismissed the film as a cheap, defamatory, and politically disgusting hatchet job, referring to those involved as human scum. We've reached the end of the list. Do you see these films as tributes or as potential election interference? Do you think we'll see a presidential biopic in 2028? Which aspects of the president-elect's life and work, especially the more controversial moments, should it explore? And who would be the perfect actor to portray him on screen? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. And to stay updated on future videos, don't forget to subscribe.